Hey everyone, welcome to Bros and Shows. I am your host, Josiah, aka Mauler67, and with me, as always, I got my buddy, I got my pal, I got my brother Austin. Austin, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about everyone else? Especially you.
Hopefully everyone's doing good. Just another week down in the grand scheme of everything in my life. Life goes on, as they say. Been relaxing this weekend since I didn't have to go anywhere again. So I just stayed in, played Final Fantasy 14, and been playing the Stick of Truth when I lay in bed and like watch stuff on TV. Just because I wanted something to do while I'm sitting there, because I always have that need to like have two things going on, and I don't want to play it whenever I'm at my computer, because I'm like, the game is not something that I value for my full-time thing. But if I'm like laying there watching something, then I'm like, yeah, okay, you know what, I can put some of that effort into that. So that's what I was doing. That's what I've been basically doing this whole week. Got the room and everything confirmed for the 27th.
Awesome.
Got 2 queen beds.
Yes.
So me and you normally can easily sleep on a queen bed, no issue, but I got us too. And if like any of my friends who go are like, oh, we can't, like, oh, it's really late, I don't really feel like driving and whatnot, maybe I'll be like, hey, you know what, I trust you, and if Austin has no issue, you can have the other bed.
Yep. Just keep my $20,000 alone.
Yeah, just don't touch all the money inside the bed. But yeah, like, got all that stuff taken care of. I'm all prepared to go. I'm ready. Yeah, other than that, just kind of like relaxing, trying to recover any type of physical recovery I can do with my whole leg thing, but it doesn't feel like anything really changes. Just kind of here, but that's how life goes. Hi, Austin, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. This week was kind of rough for like me. I had a lot of stuff going on. Like a year ago, like me and my wife lost our child, and it's been like a year now. So like we went out and did like some things. She was off the whole week at work, so I took a couple days off at work too, and just to be with her. And we actually went to a baseball game, and then we went to Akron to see her family and stuff like that. So it was kind of fun. We did a lot of cool stuff, and then she went swimming yesterday with a bunch of the 2 girls my mom takes care of, that used to take care of. So we've been really busy this week, actually. I haven't had really any time where I'm like, I want to sit down. It was like kind of hard for me to like watch Interview with a Vampire season 2, because like I'm constantly doing stuff, and it's like, I need to watch this. These are like hour-long episodes. This isn't like, something that looks like, it's not like Smiling Friends where I just blew through it. And I can watch it like 8 times.
Like, well, there you go.
No, it's done. No, it was like, I was like, oh my gosh. I remember yesterday I was on episode 3, and I was like, oh man, this sucks. And then like I blew through like 4 episodes last night before I went to bed. And I went to work, and then I was like, all right, well, it looks like I'm just gonna blow through the rest of this. That's what I did. So I've been trying to I just finished up the ending of the season 2. Just not even 20 minutes before I got on with you. Like I finally finished it. I was like, oh, thank goodness I made it. So yeah. But yeah, we've been just really busy. I've been having a whole bunch of stuff. We're gonna come out and play Vampire with you. I'm actually really excited because my friends are finally going to experience me. I'm going to DM for the first time a Dread game. So they've never seen me DM. So I was like, yeah, I won't play this time. Like I'll DM for you guys. So it actually turned into, I thought it was gonna be like 3 or 4 people. It turned into like 6 people. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good game. So I'm excited getting like my story ready and all that stuff for that. I'm just selling a whole bunch of stuff all the time because I have like a side hustle of eBay. So yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff.
Pretty
A lot
crazy.
of cool stuff going on. Yeah, just always busy. Always busy. That's how it is. So,
Yep. And the older we get, that's more just going to be the thing until we either retire or die.
yeah. And like, I get like those, like, you probably experienced this. Do you get a comfort show? I know like Futurama's a comfort
Yes.
show, but right now I have a comfort show right now that I've never watched, and I'm watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So it's like something I can just put on and do a task and then just like laugh a couple minutes, and come back to it. Yeah. So I've been watching a lot of that. Which kudos for like I never knew anything really about that show because I'm not really a fan of like Andy Samberg. So yeah, he's okay. Like he's fine. I like him in Lonely Island. I think like some of his movies are okay, but like I wasn't like, a show that revolves kind of around him. I don't think that's that great. But then the only reason that I started watching it wasn't because of him. It was because Terry Crews was in it. And I love Terry Crews. So I was like, yeah, I'll watch it because Terry Crews. And then I fell in love with the whole gang. So I'm like, this is a really good cast. Captain Holt.
The show amazing. Really draws you in within the first season. Like, they do a really good show of setting up the series to be like, oh, okay, like they're a lovable misfit bunch.
Yeah,
which,
that's all it is.
To be fair, I did equate them to, it's the comedic chemistry of like Parks and Rec's, Office, like all of them kind of have like their parallel characters to say. So
see, that's one show that I've never finished. Well, I've only watched the first season of because I don't know. It's just, it didn't rub off on me. I think now, since I can go back and watch it, I could probably go back and watch it now and probably love it. I'll probably like the show. Shows do that with me. It's really weird where like one time I'll watch a show and be like, I don't see why people like this show. But then I go back later and I'm like, oh no, I see why people really like this show. It's pretty good. But I've never done that with Parks and Rec. So I might go back and watch Parks and Rec and try to finish that. Cause I've watched The Office, like a lot of it, and I'm not a fan of The Office, and I totally get why people like The Office. But it's not like my kind of show. I don't know. I respect people that do like that show, but it's not like something I'm gonna keep watching because people are diehard fans of like The Office or Parks and Rec or what's the other big one? There's one other one I'm trying to think it is. It's not Community. It's another show that's kind of like that. You could say Brooklyn Nine-Nine's like that too, but there was one other show that came around Park and Rec's time that people like. Oh, Modern Family. That's what it is. Okay. People love that show, and I've tried to watch the show, and I'm like, but and I like Friends, and other people I know don't like Friends, so I'm like, okay, it's respecting each other on that. So yeah, I've been watching a bunch load of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so I'm actually gonna try to move away and try to like start watching other stuff.
I mean, it's okay, Austin. My comfort show that has been for me in the last couple weeks has actually been Bob's Burgers. I've been just putting on Bob's Burgers and then just like playing games off the side, just relaxing, going to bed to it. Like, I have no issue. That and what the heck is it called?
Whose Line?
Whose Line? Yep, those are the two big ones for me before I go to bed, type of thing. Because I've seen so much of them that I don't feel like I'm missing out whenever I go through. So but that's the good thing about those shows, man.
That I watched like the newest season of Make Some Noise.
Oh yeah.
I had to because my buddy Mikey, he just finished Fantasy High, and he is starting on the Candyland one.
Yeah.
Because I told him, I was like, you need to watch that one. It's really good. But I told him, I was like, you need to watch Misfits of Magic. That one's phenomenal. And he was like, what is it about? And I was like, well, your wife likes Harry Potter. You guys should sit down and like listen to it and watch it. So they've been watching it and they were like, this is really good. And I was like, yeah, it's only like a couple episodes. They're 2 hours long. You'll love them. So they just started, I think like last week. Or no, it was July 5th, like Friday. They were like, hey, we're going to start this. And like Mikey's like, dude, I love who's the one guy in there? Lou? I think his name's
Wilson?
Lou. Yeah, he loves Lou Wilson. He's
like,
Lou
Wilson's a national treasure, man. I love that man.
So yeah.
Well, one of my favorite quotes from a Game Changer episode is the Green Room episode whenever they're
Oh, yeah.
looking for Cheetos. And it's just like, here's your Cheetos, and they all just start yelling and throwing things like, here's your freaking Cheetos. Like, I don't know why, but Lou made me laugh so hard whenever he started that. So
Yeah, because like Lou, I remember in like the Misfits of Magic when we did it on here, like where Lou was like, "I'm bringing Muggle back."
yeah, it's just like, you can't
like,
say
Doug,
that. He's
you
like,
can't
no, it's
say that.
okay. We were one. It's like, no, you weren't. You were never one. You just didn't know you were magical.
Magical.
It's like, who cares, man? Up to that point, we were it, so we're bringing back. Like, oh my gosh. No,
Yeah,
a lot
so
of his
it's-
characters are great, so I agree with that.
Yeah, because he was actually really happy. Because now he uses like your gift account that we put up.
Mhm.
So like he constantly watches it. He was like, dude, he's like, this is awesome. And I was like, well, then you should buy your own. He's like, you know what? I probably will. And I was like, you should. It's only $40 a year, man. Like it's worth it. And I was like, they probably have a sale on like Black Friday. That's like $20. Because right now, Peacock has a sale or just had a sale where it's $20 for a whole year. And I think they're trying to like they're trying to recover the damage that's about to happen to them, which, you know, Peacock's going to be taking a big hit here soon, because their viewership is going to go because the WWF network, the WWE network, is leaving Peacock. It is going to Netflix now, and yep, it's going to Netflix. And they just announced that, like, since it's going to Netflix, they're going to go, instead of a so like there was always different types of eras with wrestling. There was like the Attitude Era, which you remember we grew up in the Attitude Era, but since John Cena, it was called this PG era, where it was like kid friendly, family friendly wrestling. And Triple H announced on Pat McAfee last week, he's like, since we're going to Netflix now, we are going to tone up the storylines and the graphicness. And we're like, oh man. So a lot of people are like, oh, blood's gonna come back to like WWE, more raunchy stuff. And I was like, wow, that's an interesting thing. I just don't see it happening. Like, a lot of people aren't gonna watch that, but Netflix knows the kind of money that's into it, because you know, it's just a lot of money. People love wrestling for some odd reason. Still, I don't really watch it too much. I like the old documentary wrestling where I can see like the live stories of stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, past all that.
Yeah, I never really cared too much about wrestling, but that's just
I like
me.
how we went on like a span of Peacock and
we
Dropout
went
and
on
then
such
back
a
in there.
huge jump around there, man. I didn't know
Yeah,
what
it
to
was.
do. I was confused at one point, being like, why are we talking about this? Oh, okay, I get the relevancy.
Yeah.
Austin, talking about relevancies. Austin,
Yeah.
this week we watched Interview with the Vampire Season 2
Season
show
cool.
on AMC
Plus, yep.
AMC Plus, a show that has our good friend Riley Ritchie, or Riley Ritchie is his music handle.
Man. Yeah.
Oh, what's his? Jacob Anderson.
Yeah,
Jacob Anderson. As good old Louis Dumont. Austin, what'd you think of Interview with the Vampire Season 2?
So I will say this, it was a little slow taking off. But overall, I actually really enjoyed this season. It went really well with the book, actually. Like, actually really well with the book. There was a lot of things that I didn't think that they were going to go with. If you were a fan of the movie, they kind of related to like what the movie did. They kind of did that, but they did more of an expansion, because you know, a lot of people don't remember the movie too much, but the movie, like this part that they're showing like in the season of like them being in France, it's like only a 30-minute part in the whole movie out of a 2-hour long movie. They spend too much time in like New Orleans and like France, instead of being in this part of France that's like the, you know, that they do the theater part. That part only gets like shown this much, and they go really fast. And I think that's because of the budget was running out towards the end of the movie. Because you had two good star actors. You had Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise doing that. So it was kind of nice seeing like what really the story was. Because the thing is like when I watched the movie for the first time, I remember I was like, wow, this is a really good movie. Someone actually, my buddy Wayne, told me, hey, watch this movie. So I watched it. I was like, oh wow, this is a really good vampire movie. So I read the Anne Rice book, and I was like, wow, there was a lot of stuff they left out. Like they completely let out the whole storyline with his other lover, which is wow, I totally get his name wrong. Every time I see it, I see him, but I don't remember his name all the time. I know Lestat and I know Louis, but the other one
Armand?
I'm trying to think. Armand, that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Gosh. Yeah, so they leave out Armand like completely in the movie.
No,
Armand
he
is not
was there.
existent.
No, he was there.
But he wasn't like Louis' lover, or he
no,
wasn't like
no. He
anyone
was
that
just
like,
the leader of the Covenant before.
yeah, he was Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
But there wasn't like really a big deal with him, like who was Ahmad, like was and the thing is like the little twist that happens in this season about Ahmad and Lestat, which is, you know, really interesting. A lot of people don't know that. And then we also got to see like I don't know, like they kind of teased, if you watch the movie, they tease like what the ending of the movie was, but it made it a little bit better, I think, for palatable, because how the movie ends, I really didn't really like it, where it was like, you know, Brad Pitt, like, you know, biting him like in the sun, like while he's like in the convertible or whatever.
That wasn't Brad Pitt. That was
it wasn't Brad
Louis.
Oh, it was Tom Cruise.
That was Lestat.
Yeah. So like that's kind of the thing that I saw that I was like, I don't know. I kind of like how they explained it a little bit better. This is more of the book accuracy that I think the book did really well with.
Here's the thing from my perspective, right? I've never read the books.
Okay.
I've only watched the movie, and I think I explained that last time we
you did
it. And so like I don't know what is book accurate and what is movie accurate or anything like that. I just from that perspective alone, this season was fantastic to me. Like I loved everything they did this season.
Yeah.
There was no point in it that I felt like I was bored, or you said it was kind of slow in the beginning. I did not feel that slowness. I enjoyed every minute of it. I think like the build up to them interacting with the vampires of the play was really cool. I loved how they did the play. I don't know if that's how it was in the books or whatnot. The whole like they use projections on the wall to like do everything of that sort, and like the whole thing was like very macabre, so that way the last one would be them feeding instead of like in the movie they made it more like every play was them feeding essentially. I loved how they like explained away how they got rid of bodies, like the whole rat chamber, where it's just like on Monday the rat chamber's on the left, on Tuesday the rat chamber's on the right. Don't forget, no, because if they are smart, they will be quiet, and you open that up, they'll run out, and then we will be chasing them for days. And I'm just like, that's such a fun little thing. I love the whole story arc and storyline of Louis and the news editor, I forget his name, like piecing together their first interaction. I love that part. I love the fact that they like Louis realizes that he altered his mind, and then like the realization that he asked Ahmad to do it, and like the second that becomes a revelation, your brain instantly goes like, how much can you trust Ahmad, right? Because he can say that you asked him to change your mind, but how do you know, right? Like how would you be able to know at what point was it your belief and what point is it that you have been told? And I loved how they really leaned hard in on the season with Louis and unbiased narrative. He because you can't trust him, because he himself points out that he kind of has lost his own mind multiple times.
Yeah, there's flaws. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's such a amazing concept, especially like I think one of my favorite scenes that was put up was whenever he's talking during the trial scene where he talks about how Claudia Bean turned. And he's like, you know, in the moment, I thought he's lying. But now with time, with clarity and thinking, take Lestrat's version over mine. Because that's how it really happened. And I'm like, that's such an amazing storytelling thing to have the character acknowledge that his mind's kind of like messed up and functional, and to take the person trying to condemn him and his like sister to death as like the word of truth. Like that was such an amazing scene. Like I was watching and just being like, man, this is good. Like I really enjoy this. and because I've never read the books. I only watched the movie. I don't know if that's in line with the books or not, or if it is like set up in any way like that.
Yeah, it's set up like that. Like this goes into a lot more detail, and that's what like I was looking forward to when I first saw the trailers for the original season 1. I was like, this looks like it's trying to be the book that everyone has wanted. Because I remember like when the movie came out, there was so much pushback, especially from the author, because the author did not like Tom Cruise playing in this movie. So like she would constantly be like, he's not Lestat. He's not Lestat. He's not Lestat. And then she watched the movie and she's like, all right, he's Lestat. He's good. And I'm like, yeah, but there was a lot of things different. And that's why they even, you know, this is like the part 1 of the vampire books. Cause like there's Interview with the Vampire, then there's Queen of the Damned, and then there's like 2 other books that you have to read for this whole trilogy. It's like a trilogy, I think, or a saga. This book series is, but I've only read Interview with the Vampire and Queen of the Damned because those were the 2 movies I watched. But this is pretty accurate to how they do it in the book, where, you know, Louis is kind of like, he doesn't, his mind is, it's like not there. It's not pieced together a lot. And then when you find out that he actually gets his memory wiped a little bit there, he doesn't understand like the things, but then he realizes that, because like one of the best parts of the book and the best part of this show in this scene was when you know, the interviewer gives Louis the papers and says, hey, he didn't help you stay alive. It was Lestat that actually helped you stay alive.
Yeah, I also love how they like revealed that as well. With him, like, can I just ask some follow-up questions? And whenever he asked that, I'm like, oh, he's going to ask some like pretty like hard questions here, right? Yeah. And he just started asking like weird questions. He's like, how many people got kicked out from Lestat? He's like, I don't know, like 10, 15, maybe 30, like 30 people. I don't think. And then like he goes on to explain all this stuff, and like when the reveal hits, where it's just like Lestat was the one who saved you, not Armand. That was such a crazy realization, like watching it. That was like, yeah, that makes complete sense.
That, and like what really sucks is like the scene way before it, where Lestat and Armand and Louis are down in like the sewage.
Yeah, in the crypt.
And he like, it just starts kissing him to show Lestat like, I'm over you. And like I was like, oh man, he's talking it. And then this happens and I'm like, oh no, man, like you were kissing the wrong guy. He actually helped you. Yeah, and it was pretty interesting. There was also you know, the other thing that's like a big reveal is when you find out that you know, old what's his name? I was gonna say his name from the show, but I don't remember it. Gale. Yeah, old Gale interviews the interviewer on his show.
Oh yeah. When he came on, my brain was like, I know him from something. Yep, what do I know him from something? I can't think about it. Oh, also the realization in the end that the interviewer got turned by Armand too. It's like, well, I guess he didn't harm him, but theoretically he had to get killed in order to be thing, so he did harm him. So
yeah, he did it out of, what was it? He said spite.
It was out of spite. Yeah.
Spite. Yeah.
I will say this though. I loved how after every episode they had like a behind the scenes stuff.
Oh dude, it was perfect. Oh my gosh, it was so great. Like I loved that they did those. Those were
Mhm.
so amazing, and especially the last episode.
Yeah.
The last episode had a lot of cool things that they showed, like the guy that played the older vampire with like blonde
Yeah,
hair. Uh,
Richmond or
yeah,
Ramon,
Richmond.
Ramond or something.
Uh,
I forget his name, but yeah.
where they like casted his face and stuff, and it got like this prosthetic.
And
And,
then
he was all excited.
he took
He's like, "There's the I just seen."
Jacob sent a picture of him holding his head, like kissing it. Like, it made me laugh. But I also love the fact that like they also compared to the interviewer to Louis as like an annoying little brother now, because they're essentially brothers.
Yep.
And I'm just like, that's hilarious.
Yep.
And like funny. Yeah,
That
I just
and-
oh man.
Man, Louis, you know, we found out like one of the rules that you're not supposed to break. Louis completely broke it, and that is tell the world about the vampire world.
Well, technically it wasn't Louis.
Oh, write about the history of vampires or something.
Yeah,
like that.
technically that wasn't Louis though, because it was the interviewer, because he destroys his laptop after the thing, and he tells him there'll be no book, like don't write the book type deal thing, and he writes the book anyways. And they blame Louis, which doesn't make sense to me. Like, why wouldn't they blame the interviewer, dude?
Yeah.
But I think the interviewer is essentially safe for a couple years, because if like he write this books and then he gets killed magically or randomly, that puts a lot of suspicion and eye turns on it. But if they let him like grow old, quote unquote, in the world and then die of old age, then they can just shove it under as like his trivial ravings.
Yeah. Ravings is a madman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the story of like the lead up with like them going to Paris, all the different like war,
Oh, man.
like the wartime of them like traveling through the stuff as well.
I didn't expect the one girl like to throw herself in the fire. It kind of
Oh
like
yeah,
frightened me a little bit. Like she was like, "Come with us," and she's like, "I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, what's going on?"
I was like, hey man, me anytime my friends invite me out to a party,
Yeah. It's like, never mind. I got stuff to do.
it's like introvert. Well, psh.
Yeah. No, I liked what I really enjoyed about that part of the show. I like to be so I think the problem that I had with it being slow with me is sometimes when you flip, I think the only time it got slow with me was when Lestat and Armand were like doing their thing. There was a lot of heavy French that was being like you had to read subtitles. So sometimes when that happens with my eyes and everything and like how I feel, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I gotta read this from now on. Like, because the thing is I'm already straining over watching all this, and I'm like,
Yeah, I think
gotta watch
Austin,
this.
I'll be honest, I think you probably hurt yourself by watching so many episodes in a single time. Because I watched it with a known intent. Like I'm like, I have 5 days to finish this. I watched episode 1 and then episode 2, and then I'm like, I'll take a break for a little bit, and then I watch episode 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I was like, oh dang, wow. And then yesterday I'm like 8, 9, done, or whatever was left. And by the time it was over, I was over there looking at it being like, I kind of want more. Like,
yeah,
that was such a great season. I want more. Like, hats off to the woman who played Claudia. She was phenomenal.
she annoys me. I do not like her.
I had no issue with her because like she played the person stuck in a child, right? She played it to the T. Like she was very smart and like informative about stuff, but you could tell her like persona was cracking the more and more time in. Like when they were doing the whole episode with her doing that play of being like the little girl on set, right? And like she goes from being like really happy and like really bouncy with it, and then she's just dead standing like singing it by the end of it. I'm like, you can tell like that is intentional. And then you find out later that that happened to Louis' ex lover too, that he like basically went mad and killed himself, and it was done with the help of another individual. And then he like glances over to Armand, and then you kind of like piece it together that Armand's like way of getting troubled vampires out of the coterie or out of the like group is not to kill them, but to basically like mentally manipulate them and like break their psyche down to the point where they would rather die than be there. And that is such a, like, okay, I play Vampire the Masquerade, and everything I do that involves vampires is going to have me come back to it at some degree, right? And with anything with Anne Rice, who is one of the big, like, vampire novelists, VTM took a lot of things from her. The whole functionality of, like, that group, or, like, in VTM it's called the Coterie. Like, that was like 1-to-1. And then Armand being like this really old kindred or vampire, and being like manipulative to like the mental degree fit perfectly as well. The story, just like, from my perspective, and I can understand if some people read the books or whatnot and they didn't like it because like things were different, or watched the movie and they didn't like because things are differently. I tend to take things from like a different value of what they're kind of presented as. I think the acting, the writing, and the like cinematography was so well done in this movie or in the show that I loved it. I loved it so much, and I can't. After I finished it, it was like 12 a.m. yesterday night, and I wanted to post in my chat, like my VTM chat, about it, but I'm like, no one's up and no one's going to see the message and it's going to get buried, so I'm going to hold off. And then I forget, because I'm a very forgetful person. Like, in the last 4 days I keep forgetting to do something, and I'm like, this sucks. Like, and yeah, I liked the show a lot. I thought the show was fantastic. It made me exceedingly happy. I think I really liked the guy who plays Lestat is phenomenal. When he showed back up, yeah, when he showed back up, I was like, wait, what? He's back? I didn't know he even came back at this time.
He actually, if I remember, I don't remember if it was season 1 or he did season 2. It was. He did an interview with a YouTuber that I watched. She did like an interview with him. I think her name's like Autumn Brown.
Okay.
But she did an interview with Sam Reed, the guy that plays Lestat, about how, like how he warms up for the role of being this guy that terrorizes things. Because, like, out of nowhere, he'll like scream, or like, he'll like do like this weird, like, facial expression that's like really crazy. And he was like, I don't know. He's like, I'm a really nice guy. Like, he's kind of like Anthony Starr as like Homelander, where like Homelander's are Anthony Starr's a really nice guy, but people think he's Homelander. So he's like, this guy's probably evil. It's like, no, he's really nice.
He's
it's
a
just
nice
he
guy.
plays a character. Fictional characters, guys. Fictional characters. But yeah, Sam Reed does a really good job as Lestat. I think he, like, the two main people that were star roles in this episode and in this show, I think, was Lestat, the older vampire. I always forget his name, Ferdinand or whatever the heck his name is. I don't know, Ferdinand, whatever. Armand. No, not Armand. The older one that gets his head chopped off by Louis.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. The
Richmond
Richmond. Yeah, whatever his name is. I think he did really well because he was like a vampire that you love to hate. Because like the scene where he's like reading through her book that's like covered in blood, like written in blood. He was like, "Oh man, I found out the secret of them." And I'm like, "Yep."
He's like hamming it up. Meanwhile, this chat's like talking from his hurt, and you can tell there's like a divide in the two of them. Yeah.
So yeah. No, I think this show did really well. I'm excited because the ending of the season is pretty awesome for Louis, because Louis like puts his hand. I'm thinking, I don't know, they could have mentioned this before in season 1, but I don't remember. But the part where like Louis sits down at the end and he puts his feet in like the gravel, is that like his home soil or something?
No, they mentioned that's like how he grounds himself. Like Armand taught him that, to like put his feet in it. He's like, that's why whenever him and the interviewer's trying to remember LA, they're both in that room doing that.
That's right.
I think that's in season. Yeah, that's season 2, where
Yeah.
or maybe it's season 1 that they do it, because they're in the penthouse all of season 1, but you don't realize that Armad's there until the end of season 1.
Yeah, because then he's in that thing. He's grounded. Okay, yeah, because they fly at the end of season 1. They kind of glide up. But I liked his call out where he's like, any of these guys are talking crap, like, come get it. Like, I ain't scared. I was like, oh man, hopefully we get like a season 3 of this.
I have security here, but they're all mortals. That don't mean jack. I have blinders up here so that you're afraid of sunlight. That won't be a problem. You can just fly up here. The door's open. Like,
yeah.
When that all happened, I loved. I liked the ending of that. It very much gave me the vibes of like Transformers, where it's just like Optimus Prime reaching out to all the Autobots, but it's like Optimus Prime being kind of a come at me, bro. All you haters out there, come at me. You talk a lot.
It kind of reminded me of like John Wick in a way, where he just like calls everyone out and he's like, I'm here at this time, come and get me, and they're all like trying to kill him. Like the end of, was it John Wick? Yeah, John Wick chapter 3. Yeah, that's what it was. I've never seen any of them. How dare you? The first two. I'm not
a fan of like action movies like that.
Man, I don't know. I think you would actually like those because they're not like your normal everyday action film. Like it's actually thought out a lot more. Like those two movies. Well, the whole like set of movies are actually really good. They have a way better story than what you expected. Kid, you're like, wow, this movie's actually good. It's not just some lame brain action film. Like, so, but yeah, it kind of made me feel like that, where it's like, oh, come and get it, boys. And I'm like, yeah, go Louis, do it. You're the badass vampire.
And then begins season 3 with him just dead, and you're like, well,
yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, they buried us now. Armad, like he kind of like, they don't know where he's at. And then we got to see the ending of Lestat, like with Louis, where they kind of like found out that they love each other very much, but they know how toxic they are together. Like that was a really good scene, especially like it was done well in the movie, and it was done really well in the show too.
See, I'll actually say this, right? Mm-hmm. From the realizations that happened by the end of the show, it makes Lestat not seem as toxic.
Yeah.
It makes Louis seem like it's the Stolas Blitzo argument that's happening right now in Hell of a Boss universe. They're both have very toxic traits, and like they just mesh horrifically bad together. Okay. But they just mesh really bad together. Because like the whole thing that you like initially hate is like, oh, he turns Claudia or Louis, but then he like despises her and all this stuff. And then you like realize that like Louis like, no, he didn't turn her and then despised her. I basically like begged him and pleaded for him to do it. And like he did it because he loved me, but then I despised him for doing it after so long. And like there's a weird thing. I want to like, there's a Simon that wants to rewatch season 1 and watch it with like different perspective of seeing like Lestat is being like, yes, Lestat does manipulative things, but also understand that Louis is explaining stuff with an anti-Lestat mindset. Because like even in the thing where it's like, you were calling out to me to come to you, and he's like, was I Louis, or was that your own voice imposing it into your head? And then like the interviewer even points out some of the other additional like flaws in it, because he's like, you said that you heard Louis reaching out to you, but does that not stop after he transforms? And the dude's like, I don't know, I must have forgot, or something like that. It's like Louis is very untrustworthy in his remembrance. And so it's like, is Lestat as bad of a person as Louis thinks, or has he like corrupted his own perception of Louis in his mind through the years, and we can't trust it as much. It's so fascinating to me. Like, I would love to like dive into it more. But yeah, no, that's basically what I have to say. If we're going to sit here for another 15-20 minutes of me just fangasming over like how great of a season this is, it's not going to, not much is going to change here. Like, I personally thought that this season was absolutely fantastic. I highly encourage anyone who likes Interview with the Vampire, the movie or the books, to watch it. I thought all the actors did phenomenal. I don't know if there's going to be a season 3.
I kind of set up for that.
They set it up, but at the same time they didn't. Like, there was no like definitive like, this is how season 3 is going to go, or something like that. It was much more of like, if they ended it with like Louis doing his Autobot call out, like, that would be a great ending for the series, right? Be like, what happened? Who knows? We'll figure it out.
No, I just got a video of a TikTok now. Just have like the "What I've Done" by Linkin Park playing.
Oh, right.
He says his thing, and then at the end, whoop.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that. I love this show, dude. Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to talk about it at my BTM. I'm going to bring it up. I'm not going to be done. It's going to be the new Bad Omens season 2, or Good Omens season 2, for the next month for me, most likely. That's how much I enjoyed it. So I'm very happy that we got to watch it. Austin, do you have any last things you want to say about Interview with the Vampire season 2?
Nope. I think this is a really good show, and everyone should check it out. If you're a fan of the book, you will love this show.
Yep.
And I'm glad that it was good, because, you know, season 1 was really good, you know, and like living off of that hype, you know, it was kind of like, oh man, they got to make season 2 good, and they showed up. So
yeah, they hit out of the park for me personally. Yep. I loved it. And also, I really hope that all the actors and actresses in this show get like freaking amazing roles because of it, because they did freaking amazing. Like, I loved so many of the scenes. Yeah. Oh, one last thing I want to point out before I end is, in the end of the movie, or in the end of the season, when Louis and Lestat are talking in the hurricane scene, and Lestat starts crying tears of blood, I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. Because that's one thing I hate seeing vampires do in media, is crying. While in like VTM and whatnot, they're like, they don't have water in their systems anymore. So if they cry, it's blood. And so seeing like blood come down his cheek, I was like, yes! Gosh, that makes scenes so much more epic. But yeah, Austin, I think that basically does it for this episode of Bros and Shows. Austin, thank you so much for joining me on this episode where we watched Interview with the Vampire season 2. I had a lot of fun. And next week we'll be doing The Bear season 3 on Hulu. And Austin, I want to thank you, and thank you all so much for stopping by. Thank you all so much for tuning in.